The iPhone could be an incredible tool, but most people use their phones as a life-shortening distraction device. I promise you that after this video, if you follow the steps that I'm going to share, your life will be longer, happier, and much more creative. We are going to focus how to not let this iPhone take over and destroy your life, and instead use it with intention and purpose. All the tips that I'm going to mention in this video can be tweaked to your personal preferences. Everybody's life and goals are different, so you can modify these tips based on what's really important to you and what you really want to get out of using your smartphone. These tips could also be used by Android users, but I'm gonna go specifically into the iPhone because that's the phone that I use and I'm the most familiar with. I'll also share some screen recordings on the side of the screen so you can see step by step how to use these tips and enhance your life. The core principle that I'm going to discuss with this entire video is how to not let this device distract you. Research shows that when we are in deep work and in our focused mode, there is this substance called myelin that coats our neural pathways, and every time we do some action with focus and repeat it, this myelin coating on our neural pathways gets stronger and stronger, which means that if we let something distract ourselves all the time, we're not letting brain plasticity do its job. Let me explain you with an example. When you started driving a car, it was kind of an anxiety-inducing process and you were worried about many different things. And after just a few weeks or months, you must have realized how easy it was to drive this car because your muscle memory was established, and for your brain, it was extremely comfortable to just take this vehicle wherever you wanted. That is because you did this action over and over again with utmost focus. That applies to all the other skills that you're trying to learn in your life. For example, if you want to learn how to play the guitar, you might want to need to focus and practice all the time. But if you're getting interrupted by notifications, messages, phone calls, there isn't much that your brain can do to create that neuroplasticity and include this new skill into your neural pathways, which in turn will help you develop that experience over time and become better at that skill. So with that all being said, let's get right into the tips that I'm going to share today. The number one tip that I want you to take away from this video and take action today is that you need to turn almost all your notifications. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. Go to your settings app and go to the notifications tab. What we want to do, as you can see here, I've already started this task, but what we want to do is get all of our apps to an off state. Allow notifications needs to be off. There are certain exceptions that I'm going to mention just in a minute, but as far as all the apps are concerned, you want to go to the notifications and turn off allow notifications. The only apps that are sort of a exception are delivery apps, for example, Uber, Lyft. You really want to know when your Uber or Lyft has arrived or your meals have arrived. Those are the apps that we are going to keep the notifications on for. The next category of apps is actually messaging apps. You wanna still get your messages, but the one thing that you wanna remove from there is badges. So let me show you how that is done. Let's go to, say, WhatsApp. I want to turn off badges for my WhatsApp app. What these badges are those like red little numbers of how many unread messages you have. Those numbers, if you haven't already noticed, create anxiety. You need to open that red signal. Red is a color of emergency, and most of the times when we are opening these messages, there is no emergency. So we do not need to let our brain know that we need to get into this fight, flight, or freeze mode when we see this color red. We do not want to stress our brains so much, so many times per day. So make sure most of the apps have notifications off, or at least the badges are turned off. I cannot stress enough how important this step is. So if you do not want to watch the rest of the video, just go ahead and do this notification thing, and I promise you, you will be saving hundreds, if not thousands of hours in your lifetime. We all know how distracting these notifications can be. You tap on one notification, you start on that app, and then one thing leads to another. You're down in the rabbit hole of your smartphone. And if you were doing some work, you would need at least half an hour to get back into that flow state, in that focus state. So here, there is 1 second of that notification that stole at least 1 hour of your life. When we are doing this over and over every single day, we are losing hundreds, if not thousands of hours in our life. The next and the most powerful tip I can give you is to move all of your social media apps into a folder, and that too on the second screen of that folder. Let me quickly show you how you can do that, and then I'll explain the benefits of doing so. I don't have too many social media apps on my phone. I usually just use them for work or research, but I do have Instagram right here that I would want to move to a folder, say with TikTok. Let's also brainstorm what name we want to put on this folder, because photo and video is not really what it does. I could probably say waste of time, worthless, or if I want to be nice with this naming convention, I could call it leisure. At least let's be true to our own selves what we use these apps for. All right, I'll also add LinkedIn here. You see how right now it's still in the first page, and if I even saw this folder, I'll be able to see all of these icons. That's exactly what I'm trying to avoid. So basically hide them in a folder and then hide them in the second screen of the folder. So every time that you open up your phone or you're scrolling through your phone, you're not able to see them. Even if this technique allows you to not open your social media app once or twice a day, you'll be saving hours. I'm just gonna put as many apps in there as possible. So you just tap on this and then send it to the second page. As you can see, the Instagram and TikTok apps have now moved to the second page on this folder. And whenever I pick my phone now, I cannot even see that those apps exist. Now you must be wondering, yes, the best case scenario would be just to delete these apps, and if you can, go for it. I sometimes use these for work and for video research and things like that. So I still think that it's better for me to have these apps on. But what I'm trying to do here is set intention, not just mindlessly tap on these apps and scroll away all the time. If I hide them this way, at least I'll have to take 2 steps and then maybe think about it. Do I really need to use this app right away? Another tip that you can use is when you're trying to find an app on your phone, don't try to scroll through so many screens. Yes, my phone is right now really disorganized, and that's exactly what I'm trying to do while creating this video, so I can show you how I can organize it and then use it for my productivity and with the best intention, so I'm not wasting any time. So in this case, say I want to search for the Google Maps app. So I'll just do this and find Google Maps, because now this action was intentional. This action was intentional in the sense of I opened the app because I wanted this specific app and not because I accidentally saw it while I was scrolling my phone. These social media apps are also called slot machines for a good reason. They give you lots of reward at varying intervals of time, and that makes your brain feel like the urge to want to use these. So really, going through social media apps all the time is no better than gambling, because all that psychology of gambling has been used to get you to tap and spend time on these social media apps. Because these apps contain infinite amount of data, as you scroll, more and more keeps coming back from the network. You'll never feel like you'll run out of things to do on these apps, and that's why they sink so much time. They drain so much time away from your life. Next time when you want to just mindlessly scroll through these apps, think about this fact that you're really not checking in on your friends, you're gambling away your time. The next tip is hide your messaging slot machines. Yes, even messages are really like these reward systems. When you get a message, you feel good. You get that dopamine hit that you got message from somebody, and it can mean anything to you, either feeling validated or feeling nice that you heard from a friend. But in the end, this is again a reward system that trains your brain to go back for it more and more. And that's exactly what we are trying to not do. We are trying to live a proactive life so that every time a message comes, it does not destroy your peace or focus. So we're gonna do the same with the messaging apps. We're gonna remove badges, and we're only gonna keep some banners, because that way, when you look at your phone later on, you have a whole list of messages that you received, and you can batch process these messages. So instead of looking at your phone every single time that you got a message, you have these intentional time periods set in your day that you can look at your messages, say every 3 hours or every 4 hours. Most of the times, the messages that you get are not urgent. There is no emergency to look at them right away. And if you think that you might be missing messages that way, let your friends know to call you instead if they have something urgent to say. See, FaceTime is also a messaging app, and I have my badges on. So I'm going to remove those and allow notifications only as my notification center and banner. So when my phone is locked away, I'm not able to see all these notifications. But when I'm actually using my phone during its intended time, that's when I see the notification center and a list of messages. Then I'm able to batch process them and reply to them all at the same go instead of breaking my focus over and over the entire day. My next tip is going to blow your mind. You can disable app review requests. Yes, these are those annoying pop-ups that every time you open an app or you're using one, they just come out of nowhere and ask you to review this app and leave a 5-star rating in the App Store. Them asking you for free marketing, and I don't think it's worth breaking your focus. You wanted to open an app as intentionally as possible and you wanted to do some work on it. For example, it could be an app that you create on, and then you suddenly get bombarded with this pop-up and your focus breaks. Again, we are trying to keep as much of our flow state as possible so that we can do our best work. We do not want any interruption to come in that flow state process and cost us hours of our lives. So this is one of the coolest tips I'll be giving you in this video. Let's see how to do that. You want to go to settings, and I just like to search settings. Always use the feature of searching settings in case you're not able to find something going through the menus. Again, it'll save us time. So I just said in-app, and then I see this in-app ratings and reviews. Let's go there and turn that off. Now you are never gonna get those annoying pop-ups that say, please rate our app for free marketing. That's literally what they're asking you to do. And here's the thing about not feeling guilty about turning this off and not helping. You do not have the bandwidth to help every single app that you ever downloaded and review on the App Store. You get this pop-up, you say no anyway. But if there is an app that you've been enjoying and is giving you lots and lots of value, you want to support that company, you can go to the App Store and explicitly write the review anyway. So this is going to actually benefit both you and the company. My last tip for today is to turn on Do Not Disturb. This one you'll have to personalize a little bit. I would love for my phone not to disturb me ever. The only time I want to see my phone is when I have dedicated the time to check my phone for all the messages and all the emails and notifications that I might have missed. So here's what you can do if you want your phone to not disturb you whatsoever. You want to set Do Not Disturb and schedule it at the start time and the end time being the same. For example, your Do Not Disturb starts at 9 a.m. and ends at 9 a.m., which literally means Do Not Disturb runs 24/7 forever. Here's how you do it. Settings, we are going to search again, Do Not Disturb. We go here. Right now I have scheduled it for my nighttime, but I'm gonna try the 9 a.m. to 9 a.m. and see how that feels. Any one of you are watching and doing this, please let me know how your Do Not Disturb from 9 a.m. to 9 a.m. worked. I'm experimenting with this along with you guys, so let's share what we learned from this journey. All right, now that we got through most of the tips, I do want to talk about personalization, because the Do Not Disturb from 9 a.m. to 9 a.m. might not work for somebody who's working in sales and has to take calls from many people. If you're a real estate agent, there is no way you can keep that Do Not Disturb on and not take prospect client calls. So of course, you do you and figure out what is the time that you do not want to be disturbed, but be intentional about it. There is no reason anybody working on whatever field should be disturbed from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m., which is your deep sleep time. All of this that we are doing is to try to optimize and get better quality life. If you're not sleeping well, none of this matters. And I truly feel that if your profession does not allow for that flexibility, you could either ask for it or figure out some other ways to do this. For example, if you're a doctor on call, keep a separate phone for all those nights that you'll be on call and you need to take the phone, but keep your primary phone on Do Not Disturb anyway, if that is something that is possible and you can afford. 100% of this might not be possible for 100% of you, but the thought exercise over here is how can we be as intentional with our device usage and our time as possible, and then on top of that you can add the personalizations that you need. As you saw that this process is not very complicated, it isn't rocket science, and most of the things that I shared over here are very easy to do and you might know how to do those things anyway. It is all about this mindset and setting intention that you don't want to be interrupted, and learn the value of deep work that you need to do to create this experience into something. Learn a new skill, but without interruptions. And you'll see that the quality of your work skyrockets. That way, when you're done with your work and you're using your phone, those two things are compartmentalized and you'll even enjoy using your phone more. I hope some of these tips helped you. Let me know which ones you're going to use and take action today. I have lots more tips in my back pocket, so if you want, I can make a follow-up video. As always, stay happy and healthy, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.